Water, life-giving water, ever-flowing water. Water, as seen in today's readings, reminds us of the gift of faith. We should dive into the waters of faith and see how refreshing they can be. The account in the first reading takes place in the desert. The Israelites are complaining about being out in the hot, dry desert with no water. While they were slaves in Egypt, they had been able to drink their fill of water from the Nile River, which flowed through the land. Now they blame Moses and God for leading them away from the life-giving waters to this parched land in the desert. Moses prays to God, and God gives them water flowing from the rock, not because of their faith in God, but because of their lack of faith in God. God gifts them even though they do not deserve God's gift. In our second reading, St. Paul speaks about faith. Faith comes to us as God's gift. Through Jesus, we have gained access to faith. Jesus gives us this gift of life-giving faith while we are sinners. He lays down his life so we might come to fully know the gift of faith. Now, that long gospel that we just heard, with Jesus meeting the woman at the well, speaks of water and of faith. Jesus reaches out to her. He begins the life-giving conversation, which ends in her belief, with many others, in Jesus. The woman can't believe that Jesus would talk to her. She is a Samaritan. She's a woman, and she is an outcast among her own people. Jesus invites her to believe in him and to spread the faith to other Samaritan women. He asks for water. Then he invites her to receive the living water that he offers. She thinks he's talking about another source of water. Jesus is speaking of a spiritual water that gives spiritual life. Jesus is offering her the gift of faith. She becomes aware of this other dimension of his promise after Jesus shows that he is aware of who she really is and how she has lived her life to this point. It is then that she begins to realize that Jesus is the promised Messiah. She becomes a proclaimer of this faith-filled relationship. As a result, others come to Jesus and ask that he remain and share his gifts of faith with them. This gospel is read to prepare those who will receive the Easter sacraments of initiation and become part of our faith community. Through baptism, the new believers will be welcomed into the community of believers. They will proclaim their faith and begin to live as full members of our community. This reading also speaks to those already received into the church and proclaims a message about the role of baptism and the gift of faith. It also challenges all of us to realize this blessed gift of faith. God, through Jesus, has offered us this gift of faith. God is the initiator of faith. Just as a promise was made to the woman at the well, faith is a divine gift which is made accessible to all of us. We can choose to accept it or to reject it. It is in the dialogue and the deepening relationship with Jesus that we will come to realize the greatness of the one who makes us this offer. God will continue to develop this relationship if we open our hearts to this gift of faith. True faith cannot be kept to ourselves. We will want others to experience what we have experienced. And when they come to the living water, Jesus offers them the gift of this faith, and we will rejoice with them because they have accepted the gift of faith.